Okay, welcome back to another video. So, last video, I don't know if it was last video, but yesterday, I reacted to Akala's Daily Duppy, and I got a recommendation underneath that to react to his first Fire in the Booth, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. I presume it's good. It's got 5 million views, so it was a pretty big one, and it's only part 1, so he's probably done more of these. But yeah, I really liked his Daily Duppy, and that was like was more like just like a bars and a flexing one. I don't know if he seems like he's quite a deep person. I've seen him talk on like political stuff, so I don't know if he's going to mention that in this, but it'd be interesting if he does. I like when rappers talk about that instead of just like violence and drugs and stuff, but he doesn't seem like the kind of guy to be talking about that. So yeah, I'm interested to see what this is going to be like, and we're just going to jump straight in.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yo, okay, yo.
I like you. You're like a tiger.
Yes, I grew up on a dole in a single parent family. Been through a little bit of tragedy. Yes, I was around drugs and violence before the day that I started secondary. That's part of it, not half of it. Get the picture, the rest ain't necessary. Growing up.
Been around drugs and violence before you started secondary, from 10 years old. It's like when people talk about like product of your environment, that's the kind of thing that makes me like completely believe in it, because it's like if I was surrounded by drugs and violence from the age of 10, I would be a completely different person. I think anyone would be a completely different person if you were surrounded by that from such a young age, because it would probably almost become like the norm to you. It'd become like you'd be desensitized from it. Okay, it seems like it's going to be a deep one. I'm looking forward to this. It's a very good point about products of your environment. You look at the deeper issues when someone sells drugs or stabs someone. It's not just completely down to that one individual person. You can't put all the blame on them, because they're not born evil. They're not born wanting to stab someone. They're created that way by environments and experiences and circumstances, and you can't put it all on one person and one individual, because it's more like the deeper issue of the whole society and the way our society is set up. Yeah, looking forward to this.
Got a little caught up, that ain't even half of my life. Also given the knowledge of self, that is all we actually need to survive. If you saw me, age 9, reading Malcolm, just fine. Teachers still treated me stupid. Students that couldn't speak English, they put me in groups with. The irony is, some of the first man to give me schooling, you were called youngsters. I already explained that we know what the truth is. They used to say, don't be like me. Yeah, I got a name and dough on the street. Nighttime comes, I can't sleep. It's the part that rappers don't speak. We don't hit the road cause we're thugs. Don't come out the room, wanna sell drugs. If we got the right guidance and
exactly what I just said. You don't come out the womb wanting to sell drugs. No one's born wanting to sell drugs or wanting to stab someone or wanting to be in a gang. It's created. Your society molds you as a person. It's nurture, not nature. No, there's not like an evil gene. There's not there's nothing in your DNA that makes you evil. Someone is made evil by their circumstances, and although you can't take all the responsibility away from people's actions, you should be able to look at deeper issues and understand why people do certain things, because that's the only way you're going to be able to fix stuff like that. This is a refreshing view on knife crime and drug dealing. I'm looking forward to this.
love would we fight.
I've said that too many times, but I am looking forward to this. It's a whole 8 minutes here. I'm going to have to start not pausing as much, because I feel like there's going to be lots of points to pause on this, but it's going to be a very long video if I do. So some of it I'll just let it run, because this seems like it's one that you can just let run and you should just absorb it.
People just like us, how can I knock the hustle to get by? How do you think I ate as a child? Judge no one, done many things wrong. Just don't boast about it in songs, but listen to my older bars. I was just as confused as you probably are, but you grow when you learn. Travel and cut, one too many man, you know, get caught up. One too many man that could have been doctors, end up spending the whole life boxed up. You learn if you study.
It's wasted potential when people get involved in a bad way. You said people could have been doctors. It's like everyone has the potential to be something great and play a good role in society, but your whole society around you and your community and circumstances can make it almost impossible for you to do that, and it really affects you and prevents you from being able to realise that sometimes. I'm speaking from what I believe is going on. I have no idea about this. I'm a middle-class white kid. I really don't know about this stuff, but I'm speaking from what I imagine it would be like to be in that circumstance, and I feel like if I was in an area where I was surrounded by knife crime and drugs, and it was like completely normal for you to end up in a situation like that, I feel like it would be very hard not to, because it would just, you become desensitized. It would just be the norm, and it takes a strong person to be able to resist that. And you know, it's like there's so many contributing factors to people becoming criminals or going down the wrong path that you can't always just say, well, they're a bad person. It's just definitely not as simple as that.
So set out just to make them money, no cover. It's all about getting poor people to fight with one another. So it's logical that us killing our brothers, dissing our mothers is right in line with the dominant philosophy of our time. But time is a cycle, not a line. Comes back around, you regain your mind. You be ready for the energy I challenge in my rhyme. Remedy the pedigree, the jeopardy your mind when the world's this. Leverage is a crime. We can all fight with our brothers over crumbs. Harder to fight the one who makes guns. We can all talk get $2. Harder to be the one who seeks not.
Harder, it's like you can fight your brothers, but it's harder to fight the one who makes guns. And it's like, that reminds me of Crop Circle 2, the one that Nine's released. There was a quote at the start of that like, was like, wow. It's the fact that it's like, the people on the streets and the people selling drugs and selling guns and shooting people and stabbing people are seen as the criminals, whereas the actual bad people are the people at the top who are selling arms to dictatorships around the world, and they're the people doing the really bad stuff that just trickles down into all the petty crime. And you can't just put the blame on those people. It's a whole responsibility of society, and governments do just as bad stuff, to be honest.
Knowledge. If we understood economics with no money's nothing, think nothing of it. Money is a means to get wealth, not the wealth itself. And don't get confused, far from broke. All that you see me do I own, but I won't hang what I make around my neck. I know from where that the diamonds came, but I do literally own a library that definitely costs more than your chain. And businesses and property, far from starving. I eat quite properly and I don't care. Just said it for the kids who need to know you're not broke to listen. Don't know an asset from a liability, they've never been shown nor told the difference, so they don't change situation. Richest man in Britain is Asian, that's significant, not coincidence. Asian people build businesses not by flossing, going out shopping, giving up the culture for everyone's profit. Who runs Bollywood? Indian people. Who runs our ish? So we shake our ass and dance as if.
I mean, that was a deep one. I can't speak from like experience from this, but I see it happening. It's like black culture is becoming like cool, and it's like I'm part of this. Should not be really part of black culture. I'm like detached from what they're talking about and I can't relate to this stuff, but I just enjoy the music and I resonate with like the messages they're saying. But it's like black culture has become like a cool thing, and it's like it's being owned now by white people, and it's like the people making the most money off rap most likely aren't the people who created it. Black people. It's music from black origin, and the people making the money off it are probably people right at the top, like the record labels and the agencies and stuff like that. And that was interesting, and Indian people own Bollywood. They make the money off that part of their culture which belongs to them, whereas black people probably don't make as much money as they should off rap and grime and drill. Very interesting point.
Racism just upped and vanished, but has it? No, it's right on course. You're beaten so bad you're trained to ignore. Let me not just make sweeping statements. Give me a second, I'll explain it. For small amounts of drug possession, there's more black people in jail in America than there is for rape and armed robbery and murder all put together. You can say they're just locking up thugs. Imagine they're in prison, every middle class kid that had ever held drugs. Oh, that's right, that'd be your kids, bigger than that.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. The middle and upper classes are probably taking more drugs than any of the lower class working black kids, but they're the ones that get blamed for it because it fits the agenda of the media, and whether the media are meaning to do this or it's just subconscious racism that they have in the back of their mind that they don't even realise they're having. But it's definitely something I've picked up on, is there's people doing worse stuff that doesn't get recognised because they don't fit the agenda of what people want to talk about and the group, they're not part of the group that people want to blame for that. My camera is getting quite dark, I'm just gonna pop that up a bit. There we go.
What is going on with this? Prison in America's private business. They get paid $50,000 per year per inmate by the state. Just wait, also legally are allowed to use their prison inmates as slaves. Cheap slave labour, big corporations, they come out of jail when they can't get a job. So when we celebrate going to jail, we are literally celebrating enslavement. Add to that the hood that you live in, engineered social condition that breeds crime by design. Where do you think you get your? And you could say that they're just black, but I like to deal with facts. In the 1920s, you would have found in America black towns, prospering centers of economics to education to make you proud. But some people couldn't bear that the former slaves would not just lie down to the KKK and other hate groups. burn those towns to the ground, killing hundreds if it ain't understood. You think you were always living in the hood, it's only been 60 years since the hung blacks and burned them, and that was so cool. They were your baskets, picnic baskets, even gave kids the day off school. Go see a lynching, have a picnic, it's fun to watch the little monkeys die, and people act a little dysfunctional. You wanna pretend that you don't know why. If your colour means you can be killed and you're powerless to get justice about it, is it difficult to figure out how you would then end up feeling about it? And that ain't excuses, just dealing with the roots of abuses that make a reality. We're a generation of young men speak of ourselves as dirt casually. That's America, this Britain. Something similar, some different. In this country, the first enslaved were the working class. What's changed? Worse jobs, worse conditions, most tax. Look where you live and yet you go to the pub. Friday night you will fight with a guy, don't know what for, won't fight with a guy. Suit and a tie who send your kids to die in a war. They don't send the kids to the rich or the politician, it's your kids. The poor British get the same to go and die in a foreign land for these wars that you don't understand. Yeah, they say you are British and that lovely patriotism they feed you, but in reality you have more in common with immigrants than with your leaders. I know both sides of my family, black and white, a fed ghetto mentality reality.
This is, like, everything he is saying is spot on. This is amazing. He was talking about patriotism there. I feel like patriotism is like half a lie. You're sold this like thing of like your country and your country's values, which we don't follow. We don't follow like the values of tolerance and stuff that we're meant to have, the British values. But you're sold this like dream of like this country that is Britain, and we do everything right, and we fight the evil in the world, and we defeated the Nazis and all of that stuff that like makes you have this like amazing idea of Britain. Whereas and they it's kind of like used to make people join the army, where you're basically just a slave for people you don't know and people you most likely don't agree with. Obviously, I respect people in the army. You're fighting for something you think is right, and you've got to respect someone for putting their life on the line for any cause, really. But it's almost like you're a slave to someone that you don't necessarily agree with, and I don't know how much of that is down to patriotism. I can't relate to that situation, but there's definitely ways people act due to patriotism, which I feel like is constructed by this idea that Britain is such an amazing country when it's not really, is it?
In this system, poor people dirt regardless of shade. But with that said, let's not pretend that everything is the same. When our grandparents came here to Britain, if you had a criminal record you couldn't get in. That ain't protecting from all of the stupid abuses they will be living. Kicked in the teeth, stabbed in the street, many times firebombed our houses, put feces through our letterbox, and of course the cops did so much about it. Daily, up to the 80s, people spitting on my pram cause I was a baby. But of course, that has had no effect on why today we are crazy. And none of this was for any good reason. They were just dark and breathing to ease the guilt now for all of this treatment. Constant stereotypes are needed. So if I celebrate how big that my kid are, bricks that I'm flipping, clips that I'm sticking, chicks that I'm hitting, I'm playing my position. But if I teach a kid to be a mathematician, messing with the schism, how they gonna fill a prison when materialism is no longer our religion? What do you think we got now in Britain? Just like America, private prison for profit. That mean when your kids go jail, people make money off it. So keep environments that breed crime, build more jails at the same time, market badness to the kids in the rhymes. Long as rich kids ain't dying, it's fine. Get them to the point where some are so lost they actually believe if they don't celebrate killing themselves off. That it's because they're soft. Was Malcolm soft? Was Marley soft? Tell me, was Marcus Garvey soft? Well, was Muhammad Ali soft? Nah, I think not, but they want us to think that the road is cool. Being on road is all we could do. We don't control the wholesale production, so who benefits from us moving the food? Or thinking there's no way out of road life, but Malcolm X used to hustle on the roadside. And Marcus Garvey organised more than 6 million people with no Facebook or Twitter. Why is it something you can't eat? One of my own homeboys did a 10 straight in the boxing yard. Now what's he doing? Passing his doctorate. Don't tell me that it's too hard. Who trained you to believe you're inferior? Songbo Ebedo in Nigeria are the remains of an ancient moat dug 1,000 years ago, 20 meters wide, 70 down. Round the remains of an ancient town that's 400 square miles around. 400 square miles around. Please don't believe me, it was a documentary on BBC, but we ain't studying history, too busy watching MTV. And MTV said wear platinum, now everybody wanna go and wear platinum. And MTV said pop magnums, now everybody wanna go and pop magnum. If MTV said drink prune juice, you will start hearing that in tune soon. Hey, today I wore my Cartier, is it now more important what I got to say? Oh, and I drive a Mercedes, by the way, so everybody listen to what I got to say. Does that make you all happy? But my head's still nappy. Think for myself, so some mad at me, but on the mic ain't not one bad as me. All of this here's good for the rhymes, put us in the same place at the same time, and it's clear to everybody I'm out of my mind. Some of these guys are running out of their rhymes, clear to everybody that has got ears. I'm the guy that they just might fear, that they wanna get near, but they can't have a peer. Oh dear, I'm hard liquor, you just like beer. Front on the kid for another 5 years. Come to my shows and some cry tears mean that much to them. It's a movement, I don't speak for myself, but a unit. Black, white, man, woman, anyone who respects truth we put in. Dudes are like no dinner, we're just pudding. Yeah, you're sweet but no substance pudding. You can never ever be with a level on. Our songs get played out there in Lebanon. We speak for the people properly, not for the old fat guys in offices and the girls loving. Ain't fair, you can't even be bothered to comb his hair. Anyway, that's enough kissing my own ass. Back to the more important task of being so shower. I got half the hood screaming, knowledge is power. And I ain't saying that'll change rap back, but I do know this for a fact. Right now there's a youth on your block with his hands on his face screwed up. So he don't care, don't give a that he won't let nobody call his bluff, but the words go in. Open your shack covers, once that's happened there is no going backwards. You start to see what is really happening. Who the enemy you should be attacking is. So read, stuck on the block, read, sitting in the box, read, don't let them say what you can achieve. Cause when people are enslaved, one of the first things they do is stop them reading. Cause it is well understood that intelligent people will take their freedom. Cause if we knew our power, we would understand we can't be held down if we knew our power.
This is why the education system is so important, is because knowledge is power. It's such a overused saying, but it's completely true. And yeah, they stop slaves reading. They stop people, I don't know if they don't do it in this country, but they do it in lots of other countries that are like suppressive. They stop people reading in prison, and if you stop a certain, they did it in Nazi Germany as well, they stopped the Jews reading. If you stop a certain group of people gaining knowledge, those people will end up becoming suppressed without you actually having to force it upon them. And it's a clever way to suppress a people without looking like you're suppressing people. This is, I think this might be up there with one of my favourite Fire in the Booths. Wretch 32, Bugsy Malone and Akala. And I've only heard this guy like a day ago and he's already like a legend to me.
Power. We would not elevate not one of these clowns if we knew our power. We wouldn't get arrogant when we get 2 pennies if we knew our power. We would see what everybody sees, that we're rich already. But never mind MCs, go run for your mummy. I'm hungry, I run for my tummy. That's enough, back to worshipping money. I'm off, back to the study. Man! I can't even burn the booth down, man! Sis! And someone pass me that extinguisher! Oh! Oh! Hey, brother!
That mic has been burned.
Illustrate Records. Now that is what you call fire in the booth!
Yes, it is, Charlie. That was up there with one of my favourite Fire in the Booths. That was amazing. Akala is a legend. So I've watched him twice and he's already a legend. That was amazing. Yeah. Touched on like everything and touched on it perfectly. Just everything he said was spot on. Articulated so well. What a guy, what a guy. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Drop a like if you enjoyed it, and I think like 93% of people watching my videos aren't subscribed, so I'd appreciate if you subscribed, and once you do that you can click the bell next to the button and that will give you a notification every time I upload a video. But apart from that, that is the end of the video.